Howdy, guys. Attorney Walter Hnot. Let's get right to this. Now, here's the deal, and I need to go through it. I'm going to fix the lighting a little bit. We do have, of course, now the backdrop behind us. So we're going to be getting right into specifically how to invest if you're on supplemental security income benefits. That's, of course, Title 16 benefits on the Social Security Administration's payout per month. That's where you get your Medicaid and your check every month. Now, with that said, and this is important, and we've got to go through this, I will not be going into tax-related questions in this video. Once again, I will not be going into tax-related questions for this video. If you want tax info, CPA, tax attorney, that's your thing. I'm the most viewed and subscribed to disability attorney on YouTube in America, so we're going to be doing disability stuff. All right, let's go into this real quick. So in this video, we're going to be answering essentially how to invest and gain more financial worth while being on SSI benefits. Now, a lot of SSI people can do part-time work and they want to do it, but they are afraid to work because they don't know the rules. They are also afraid that if they work, it might trigger a consultative examination appointment, where they go ahead and look at your record. They say, okay, do we need to send out a short form, a long form? Do we need to go ahead and restrict this person from having benefits in the future, etc.? Now, with that said, we aren't going to be talking about the IRS tax stuff. We aren't going to be talking about how you handle your business, what you personally will be doing, things like that. A lot of people have been asking me, essentially, what do I do? If I have SSI benefits and I want to do a little something extra, a little part-time something on the side, how do I increase my worth? How do I increase my portfolio's, overall worth so that I have something, maybe could get a loan against it, etc. All right, so let's go through some of the basic things here. You have some restrictions that the SSA will put on you that you have to watch out for when earning income, right? You've got your classic resource limit, right? You earn some income, you put it in the bank, $2,000 resource limit. You can't have resources that are over $2,000. You also can't have over $1,470 earned per month, right? That's SGA, substantial gainful activity. You can't earn more than $1,470. So that $2,000 resource limit and that $1,470 basically that you earn that month, those are your two main limitations, but there's a loophole. And the loophole is incredibly important. So the loophole is for those assets that you can own that do not count as a resource. We aren't going to waste time on the small money options. That means, basically little things that you have the ability to own one of that don't count against you. We're not going to waste time on that. We are going to focus solely and specifically on vehicles and dwellings. Once again, vehicles and dwellings. All right, cool. Let's go through this. So let's start with vehicles. The goal here is to buy something that needs work, to improve it, and then trade it up for a better vehicle. I know guys who have done this with Harleys, classic cars, RVs, and even import vehicles. And that's because you can have one vehicle and one dwelling and it won't count against you. That's the loophole. So here's the deal, okay? There are ways that you can make money off a vehicle asset. There's repairing a mechanical problem. There's repairing a body or paint problem. There's repairing a window problem. There's repairing a tire problem. There's repairing an interior problem. Now, the trick is to know how to assess vehicles. Damage to the body tells you a story. Sounds that you hear from the car, they tell you a story. Weird smells and stains, they all tell you a story about that vehicle. The truth about it is that almost every car problem you could have has a YouTube video that explains to you how to fix that problem. That's the beautiful thing of living in the modern age. There's always a YouTube video. You want to rebuild a house? You want to rebuild a car? There's almost certainly a YouTube video on it. Now, I want to go through this real quick. This means that you need to learn that particular vehicle that you want to invest into. Obviously, pick a vehicle that has a high rate of return, right? Something that's going to keep its worth over a period of time. All right. Now, some of you will say, there is no way I could ever learn how to go ahead and repair a vehicle. And the whole idea here is you're going to repair that vehicle and then trade up, and repair that vehicle and trade up. Let me explain something about repairing vehicles to increase your supplemental security income's overall net worth, right? Your portfolio's worth, okay? So the major thing that you need to know is that you need basically a couple of items. And your brain's probably like, there's no way I could ever repair a vehicle. There's no way I could ever change this part on it. Remember, the individuals that all went to college, got the white collar jobs, all that stuff, those individuals all had the capacity to learn how to be a mechanic, all had the capacity to learn how to do construction. Those who went into vocational school, right, the ones that didn't have the GPA or whatever, those are the individuals who learned how to be a mechanic, who learned how to do construction when it comes to home or dwelling repairs. You know, it could be an RV, could be a trailer, whatever. It is not beyond your capacity to learn it. It's not. It's really not. All right. So let me warn you real quick. You need a couple items. You need a multi-tool set. Easy peasy. You need a chip reader. They're like $40. And you need YouTube. So you need internet and some way to watch this on YouTube. Okay, cool. Now, if you have those, you need, you've got the repair part going. Let me warn you as well. If you're buying it from a car place, like a car, and they're getting rid of it, then you shouldn't be buying that car because they've already tried to fix it and they couldn't, and now they're trying to get rid of it. Okay. You only buy fixer-uppers from people who pretend to be cool and have white collars, right? Your classic white-collar jobs, an accountant, a lawyer, a doctor, whatever, okay? You do not buy fixer-uppers from blue-collar people who have a wrench in their pocket. Examples that you are buying the car from the person you should be buying include the seller lives in an HOA. That's a good one you might want to look at. The seller has and uses a garage for their vehicles. That's probably a good one to go look at. Go look at that car. The seller talks about things that they don't know about the car and genuinely does not know about them. It's a good thing to go check that out. The seller uses a third-party towing service like AAA. That's a good thing. Seller has a collared shirt or a t-shirt that has a university on it. That's a good sign. This goes for hoodies as well. The seller likes to talk about restaurants and does not use the phrase, "that's good eating." That's a good sign. The seller complains about their spouse in the vehicle in a nonchalant way. That's a good sign. The seller has dinner plans later. That's a good sign. The seller does not own an air compressor, a gun safe, any ones of those types of items. That's a good sign. The seller uses phrases like, "I never had any issues with the tires." That's a good sign. You get a seller like that, green light, my friends, emerald green. All right, cool. Now, this is assuming you plug in your reader, right? Oh, perfect. Howdy, howdy, guys. Howdy, Leanne, Don Pete, Adam Brock. Howdy, howdy. Amethyst Angel. Howdy, howdy. So the deal is this. Now, we're assuming you've plugged in your, reader. You rev the engine a couple times, go for a test drive, and test the brakes. The number one key to buying a used vehicle is that the more time you spend with the seller, the more time they will take telling you about it and its history and its problems, because they're just going to spill out with information over time. You're going to talk to them. They might try to hide something. You should be able to read and pick up on that. Okay. Some people like to talk, so let them. At some point, say that you hear something and let them answer with what it probably is. You are an investigator on a hunt for a criminally good deal. Okay. Now, once you have the vehicle, you know how to fix it, and you fix it, and then you go into step 2. You sell it or you trade up. This means the car you pick needs to improve significantly with your repairs or cleaning it, right? Don't forget, a lot of vehicles, they come in, you clean them up, price goes up. Cars that hold their worth are Toyotas because women are extremely attracted to them, and they're, basically trucks are incredible. The trucks just last and last. I don't know if the deal is that they shouldn't be as better than a Chevy or a Ford, but they're incredible. AKA, they are reliable vehicles, and that is the stamp that you would put on that brand. Then you have purpose vehicles, minivans, sports cars, classic cars, trucks. If the use is more than just 2 adults going to a dinner, then that's a plus. If it has some further purpose, that's a good thing to look out for. Now, if the vehicle is rare for some reason, don't be afraid to ask people on blogs, what it's worth, what's going on with it, things like that. But of course, don't give out who owns it or where essentially it's being sold. Now, the whole idea is to asset upgrade. Okay. You go from junk to low to mid upper to luxury to, basically rare and then to unique. Of course, they're all used. You never buy a used car or you never buy a new car. Why do this? Let's say you need to cash out. The junk car is worth 1K. The low end car is worth 3 to 5K. The mid car is worth 7 to 12K. The mid upper is 15 to 25K. The luxury is 35 to 60K. The rare is 65 to 100K. And the unique car, where they didn't make a bunch of them, is 100,000 plus. That means you could essentially have potentially a $30,000 car, $100,000 car, whatever, while still being on SSI benefits by just learning this skill. The trick is to use the asset allowance to grow what's called your portfolio's value. You may not realize it, but everything you have has a portfolio amount worth. As a result of this, you are allowed a dwelling and a vehicle at any value. You could literally be on SSI benefits, okay, and drive around in a Rolls Royce, literally on SSI benefits, and own a mansion. As a result of this, you can have a really nice thing worth a lot of money that if you want to sell at some point, and this is not a tax video, if you want to sell at some point, that will bring you a significant chunk of income. This also works for trailers. This also works for houses, etc. Guys, if this video is helping in any way, please remember to like and subscribe. Now, if you are buying a beat-up trailer or a tiny home, it's the same exact process. Carpentry, electrical, appliances, plumbing, foundation, roofing, accents, and accessories. Now, sure, you're not going to know how to do all these things, and you might need some help with the electrical or something. But the bottom line is start developing who you can talk to. There's so many people out there who are willing to reach out and help you because they have the information and they want to be helpful. The point is that SSI people who can do a little work can learn a lot on how to obtain something of value, improve it, and upgrade. Now, I know a couple of people who have a nice home and a nice car, and they did it while being on SSI benefits. They even leveraged loans by using their assets to gain worth, meaning that that thing that they had, they were able to use as collateral against the loan. The loan got them more money. Once again, this is not a taxation video. Now, some of these places that they were able to restore and things like that, they were able to start renting out rooms. Some of them with the cars, they would rent out rides. Now, with that said, this is how you make smart investments when you are on SSI benefits. Some of you will say, well, you can't do these things. Some of you are afraid of home repair and vehicle repair. Let me put it to you this way. Those college kids that basically went off and did all those different types of things, they could do this. Okay, most people who do not graduate from essentially a high school, get your GED, or maybe you can't, can still do these functional tasks. Okay, they're not difficult. Now, you always need a sale plan and a loss plan. Do not leave those out. Sometimes you invest and you lose money. You won't always be successful, but someone out there wants to have what you have, which means that they're willing to buy it from you. And it's easy for them to find you with all the different marketplaces, right? eBays, all that kind of stuff. Now, some of you likely clicked on this video thinking it was about a stimulus or a fund allowance. Those exist, but are mostly regional. Call your local religious institutions and county offices to ask for what programs with buying a car are available. Be smart, get experience by asking questions, and don't be afraid to listen to your gut on certain deals. Now, we've gone over essentially how to use the two largest loopholes when it comes to asset retention to grow those assets to have a larger SSI portfolio. I was running late today. I'm sorry. I was working on all kinds of stuff today. Now, with that said, I'm going to start answering questions for people who want to call in and just ask random questions. Let's get to it. The phone number I'm going to place over here is essentially into the chat section. And you can call that phone number, and I, the disability attorney, will answer the question the best that I can. Let me pop over here real quick. We did have somebody who already called in to begin with. I'm going to try reaching out to that person. Let me see if I can get them on the phone, and we'll go from there. Okay, here we go. And we are ringing. I'm going to try and set this up over here. Let's see if we can get him on the phone. Maybe we can, maybe we can't. Let's see if we can get him. Okay, let's go to the next one. That's kind of the beauty of being late with these shows. I get to go ahead and go through a bunch of calls. Let's see real quick. Let's see if we can get this person on the phone. Howdy, good sir. Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Would you like to ask me a specific question, or would you like me to go ahead and run hearing questions with you? And remember to use a fake name throughout this process.
Okay. My name is Jack, and I have a CDR appointment coming up 14th of next month. And I haven't been going to the doctor, first of all. I was in Florida, and I moved away, and I finally got a doctor, didn't like her, got a different doctor, and I've only seen him once. And basically over the last 2 years, I haven't been going to the doctor. I went back to Florida. My mother was sick. I didn't have doctors there. And anyways, I'm back on the West Coast now. Got one visit in with this new doctor, and I got this appointment coming up. I'm having a hard time going to doctors because I can't afford to. My coverage, it doesn't cover the whole bill, and I'm very poor. I live in my vehicle. I spend between $500 and $600 a month just in fuel. With full coverage insurance and a car payment, that doesn't leave me a whole lot of money left over to be seeing doctors. So I know that it's important to see doctors, but that's my excuse, and it's the truth. I can't. I'm broke 2 to 3 weeks every month. I know that's going to hurt me, but at any rate, I have a massive hernia in my stomach, and that's the main reason why I got on disability. And I am terrified to go get. It's the second mesh implant failure. So basically cut from my belly button all the way up to my sternum. And there's a big grapefruit-sized knot in the middle of my stomach up by my chest.
Okay.
That's the main reason, but I have many other injuries also. Plus, mentally, I have suffered from extreme anxiety and depression. And I have records on file with the doctors for over 5 years that I've had GI problems, which goes with extreme anxiety and depression. I've been asking for anxiety medication and pain medication, and I've had a hard time getting it. They don't like giving that stuff out anymore. The stuff that they did try was a non-narcotic, and it made things worse. I've tried multiple drugs as experiments that may work for some people, but didn't work for me. Okay. So I've got this review coming up, and I am just terrified of them denying me because I haven't been going to the doctor.
So your question to me is, what's the most positive way and quick way to increase the likelihood of you successfully not losing your benefits?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so
what to expect?
Yeah.
During the interview, it's a muscular, comprehensive musculoskeletal exam.
Okay. All right. So musculoskeletal category. Now, walk me through, what are your top 5 most severe impairments? Because I've got what's going on, generalized, but just walk me through top 5, which is the most severe, and then go from there.
Okay, I have the degenerative disease in my spine, cervical spine from arthritis. That's on file. I have metal in my foot and fused bones. I have metal in my hand with fused bones.
Okay.
I have broken over 50 bones in my life, and I've had 16 concussions. I don't remember things anymore. I get upset very easy because I can't remember or concentrate. I'm 60 years old. I've worked hard my whole life.
So, you know,
I'm just scared. I don't know what to expect. I don't.
Okay.
I'm scared.
So you're very scared about this. You don't want to lose your benefits. You're probably surprised that you're getting the CDR at 60 years old. We got some musculoskeletal issues. We've got some mental impairments. All right. So the number one thing that they're going to be looking for is crisis treatment. That's where basically you go to the emergency room for problems that you're having. The argument that you don't have money doesn't usually hold up very well because you should have some form of insurance. So which kind of insurance do you have?
Medicare.
Okay.
I make $364 too much to be on the Oregon Health Plan and to be on Medicaid. So I make $300 and some too much to have full coverage insurance.
Okay. So bottom line is this, it's a financial limitation thing for you. Now, does your insurance care, cover crisis medical treatment where you're in the emergency room, urgent care, things like that?
They cover a large portion of it, but I am on the hook for a lot of money for me. Again, I get $1,500 a month, and I spend $600 just on fuel, and another $300 on insurance and car payment.
Okay, so with the fuel, I mean that's a lot of fuel. So where are you driving around? I mean, is that to get extra money, doing gig work?
No, I don't do any gig work at all. It's staying warm. I'm in the Pacific Northwest, and my vehicle doesn't get great fuel mileage, especially idling for heat. And you can't sit very long. You have to move around. You can't stay in the same place every night. I'm homeless. I sleep in my vehicle.
Okay, so that's what it is. Homeless in the vehicle.
Gas,
So you're running the engine.
Gas,
I gotcha. Yeah.
Gas is expensive.
Yeah.
Gas is very expensive.
Okay. So now with that said, let me ask you this. With these impairments, you haven't had much medical treatment. Are there any other types of evidence out there where you had any interactions with the law, any difficulties where, maybe there was a police report because somebody had to help you up because you fell down, anything like that?
No.
Okay. With understanding this, your greatest fear is you don't have much medical treatment to show that your impairments are as severe as they are. So what they're going to do first is send you off to what are called essentially consultative examination appointments. So CE appointments, that's where you're going to go see their doctors. And their doctors tend to be a little bit obviously biased because they, have to follow the SSA program and system and, do certain evaluations. Now, with that said, though, and I think this is important, when you go to their doctors, you're going to basically need to say the right things about your impairment. So let me ask you this. Let's go back to the top 5 most severe impairments. Give me the bullet points. Go ahead.
Massive hernia in my stomach, not allowed to lift over 5 pounds. I'm in a lot of pain with that. The degenerative disease, my shoulder and my neck and my back is constant pain. There's a lot of days that I can hardly walk because of the injuries to my feet, and just the mental aspect of just not liking getting old and having the thought of losing the benefits. Not absolutely. I am mentally unstable to go have to punch a clock and work around people anymore. I can't stand being around people anymore.
All right, so we're off topic. I mean, that's good. I get the whole mood disorder, things like that, aggressive, hostile, yada yada. One more time, top 5 most severe impairments. Don't give me a story with each, just the impairments. Go ahead.
Pain, pain in my back, my neck, concussions. I can't remember things anymore. Have a hard time concentrating. Pain in my feet. Just a lot of pain from my feet to my head. I've had 16 concussions. I've broken over 60 bones.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you're going to have to work with somebody on that because those are a lot of symptoms. What we would need are the medical conditions for each one. So normally we'd say, okay, what are your top 5 most severe impairments? Then we would say, what are 2 symptoms per each? Then we would say, when did each one begin and when did each one become severe? All right. Assuming that you can answer those very, very well, now let's refocus on when you're going to the doctor. What is your greatest fear when going to see their doctors?
Because it's their doctors and everything I see on the internet, how a lot of people are being disapproved. I don't know what, the doctors are appointed by the government. What kind of tricks, what kind of, how they're going to lean against me. I mean, I can walk, but I'm in a lot of pain every single day from my head to my feet.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So can you tell me this? If you have all this pain with walking, 16 concussions, were you prescribed a walker, wheelchair, cane, crutches, rollator, anything like that?
I got a cane.
Was it prescribed?
No.
Okay. So basically what we need are some basic, evidence items to help support your claim. So who can you go to get a prescription for, basically a cane, crutches, walker, things like that?
My new doctor, I guess, is the only one I've got. I've seen him one time this week, and he set an appointment out for 6 months. But I didn't really know to go into detail on the first visit of all of my issues. He wanted to do urinalysis to see how my kidneys were.
Mm-hmm.
And
sure.
He poked my feet to see what kind of feelings I had. Pre-diabetic, high blood pressure, mostly is what we talked about.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. This, you've only seen this doctor. That was your first visit and you haven't had any visits since then?
Sir.
Okay.
This week was my first visit.
So let's work on the question that you're most afraid of, which is why haven't you sought out more medical treatment? Because that's going to come and it's going to railroad you unless you're ready to answer it. Bullet points. Why have you not been to the doctor more if you are so severely and medically impaired?
I went to Florida for a year and 10 months. I wasn't planning on staying there, so I didn't want to get a doctor. My mother was sick. And then I came back, and it took me 2 months to get back.
Okay.
I had to take my time driving in a lot of pain. And when I got back, I got a doctor, and she and I really didn't get along. She put in her notes that I had drug-seeking behavior, I had gender identity issues because I was requesting a male psychiatrist to get anxiety medication. So I changed doctors, and I just had my first appointment. I had to wait 8 weeks to see this new doctor. And I got all these doctor bills coming in now, and I can't even afford to put gas in my truck to pay these bills.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So let's keep going. That's a good start. Why else have you not gotten medical treatment at the level at which normally somebody like, in your circumstance would actually get?
Well, with all the injuries I've had, I'm 60 years old. When people get old, they start hurting all over anyways, usually. Not all people, but a lot of them. Mm-hmm. I have for sure. I did not know that, my pains are curable. Again, I've broken a lot of bones. I've got metal in my feet and my hand. I've got a massive hernia. I am terrified to go back to the hospital to get this surgery for a third mesh implant. I'm terrified. The last time I was in the hospital, I got Mercer in my foot that has the metal with all the fused bones. It swelled up the size of a football, and I was thinking they were going to wind up having to cut it off.
Okay. So
the first time I went in for surgery, they nicked my spleen and they couldn't get it to stop bleeding, so they took it out. The second surgery, they took the staples out of my stomach too soon. I got an infection, and the scar is about 2 inches wide where it should be like less than 1/8 of an inch wide. I got an infection. Pus was squirting out of my stomach. The nurse that was in there didn't put the scanner on my stomach to find out where the pus pocket was. She stuck a needle in my stomach 3 inches long and started poking all around. My stomach was purple. Then she took a scalpel and just cut at a random spot where the pus wasn't at. I've had a lot of bad experiences.
Okay. So you have PTSD from prior surgeries. You're afraid of the financial duties that you'll have to pay back money that you don't have to go ahead and make this all work out. What else?
Yeah, the surgery, if I go get my surgery again, it's going to be many thousands of dollars. February 5th of last year, I broke almost all of my ribs, broke 9 vertebrae, shattered my right shoulder, had a severe fracture in my left shoulder, had staples in my head with my 16th concussion, was dizzy for 4 months.
Was this a car accident?
Sitting, standing, laying down. No, I fell through a hole in a loft in a barn in Florida.
Okay. Understood. All right. So, and here's the thing. If you've had that many incidences, have they already begun collecting your medical documentation? I mean, have you already told them where you've been for medical, where you had all those surgeries, where you were at the... Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, at this point, they're probably not going to touch it because you're 60 plus. They'll send you to their doctors. They'll do the range of motion tests. They'll do an analysis. They might do a couple of x-rays just to make sure that the hardware is where the hardware is supposed to be. But bottom line, you shouldn't be that worried. This is probably going to go through without a hitch. You're probably going to be through this in next 2 to 3 months, and they'll wrap it up and say the benefits continue.
I hope so. All of the vertebrae itself didn't break. Otherwise, they'd have had to do surgery. But it's the tabs. You got a tab on each vertebrae on each side that connects to the muscles.
Sure.
That's what broke. So all of my muscles in my back are relocated to their connection because of all of the tabs that broke on 9 vertebrae. Half of them, both sides broke. And so I'm going through severe back aches and pains. What do you do what kind of help can you get to make those kind of pains go away?
Well, the assessment.
The degenerative.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
The degenerative cervical disease in my spine. What takes that pain away?
Well, usually what they'll be using is a combination of medication, therapy, all kinds of different, treatments for pain. But bottom line is this, the main function you're going to run into is the pain medication usage, upkeep, because if you haven't seen a doctor in 6 months, you must not be on that many medications, correct?
No, I've got a high tolerance for pain. I've been in pain for a long time, and I just accept it. I deal with it. But now, this last concussion has really scrambled my brain. 16 concussions, that's a lot. I can't concentrate. I can't remember things. I get very frustrated. I don't like being around people. I especially don't like going to doctors' offices. And if I got to go through all of these treatments,
right,
the anxiety is through the roof without even having to go through these. I can't even hardly function because of my anxiety.
Okay. So the bottom line here is that you're likely to have a successful go through, but the argument of I have a high tolerance for pain only goes so far. So, basically having a pain specialist that you can use with your Medicare would be a very good thing. And having some sort of, ambulatory devices prescribed to you, a 4-prong cane, a fold out walker, whatever, would be very helpful for your claim. Now, how many, so when did you first get this letter that you were going into a CDR?
In December.
Okay, so you're at the
Middle of
very,
December.
you're at the very beginning of this thing. You'll probably be seeing a CE doctor within the next month and a half to 2 months. So you've got some time to get some emergency medical documentation or just medical documentation. Now, you're going to give me a spiel about how you have anxiety about going to the doctor, and that's fine, and that's good. But they're going to need evidence provided to show that essentially you are the disabled person that which you are claiming to the SSA that you are. So with that said, if you're truly in that much pain and you've truly had that many broken bones and you've truly been through all those things, the expectation is that you'd be on some sort of pain medication. And as a result of that, they're going to be really surprised if they don't see a pain medication prescribed to you. You know what I mean?
Well, the woman doctor that I went to when I first got back here told me that she would prescribe pain medication, but I had to sign a contract and do a urinalysis proving that I was not smoking marijuana or using marijuana or any other kind of drug. I signed it. I took the urinalysis test, and 100% of every drug known to mankind came back negative. And then I did have a prescription from Florida after that accident last year.
Sure.
For like a hydrocodone.
Yeah.
And I was like breaking them in half and only taking them when I was in extreme severe because I didn't have a doctor.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
The doctor I had in Oregon left and went to he went to work for OSU.
Okay.
Oregon State University. So he was no longer available. So I couldn't talk to him. That's one reason why I couldn't communicate. And I was in Florida, which I was planning on coming back to Oregon. But anyway, she denied the refill because I didn't have hydrocodone in my system. It showed up negative. So she denied giving it to me.
Yeah, because the expectation is that you're selling the pills.
I don't know, but
well, no, that's it. That's it. There's no, I don't know. I know that's it. That's the whole background.
I'm 60 years old. I'm not doing, I don't know anybody out here. I understand what you're saying, and I already figured that's probably what she thought.
Yeah.
But she should have at least tried to be nice and talk to me about it, knowing that I have extreme anxiety. She should have got to the root of figuring it out instead of putting in their drug-seeking behavior, and denying me the medication.
So what happened with that, the drug-seeking behavior? Because I guess there's some red flags here as I'm going through the story. And, the drug-seeking behavior, but I'm breaking pills up to use only a little bit. And then even while I'm using a little bit, there wasn't any in my system. The doctor didn't take. Right. Yeah. So let me ask you this. I mean, if this was prescribed to you in a certain amount and, hydrocodone, you were using it. I mean, did you explain to her during that meeting time that she would be unlikely to find it in your system because you were not utilizing it?
Well, I did. I was prescribed that medication back in April of last year, and it was only for 28 pills. And I made those 28 pills last until October when I first saw her. And I only had one pill left when I went into her office. Out of the 28 pills, I had one pill left from April of last year. I mean, that's like 8 months.
So, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay, so now follow up though with this. Did you call the doctor to have the doctor correct her record? Because obviously you should have utilized those pain pills way, way, way before you even saw her.
The reason why I didn't is because my doctor left, the doctor I had here, he left the facility he was at and went to Oregon State University. So at that time, I had no longer had contact with my doctor that I had for over 4 years. And I loved him. He was great. But he left and he went to Oregon State University. And I was still in Florida. And the doctor in Florida prescribed me 28 pills 4 separate times. And
what kind of pills?
I can't give you any more.
What kind of pills?
Hydrocodone.
So the last hydrocodone was in the beginning of the prior year, and then you saw this other doctor in, what was it, October?
Yep.
But they prescribed you multiple times, the hydrocodone. Was that, I mean, how many pills were prescribed each time?
28.
So you had 28
and
pills.
In the beginning,
yeah. How many times did you get it? Like, what were the months that you received the prescription?
February, when the accident happened, up until April was the last prescription I had.
Okay.
And in the beginning, I was in much more pain, so I was using them because the accident had just happened. But when I got my last prescription, I found out my doctor in Oregon was no longer there, and I just weaned myself and told myself, only take the pill when you can't stand the pain. And I made them last from April until October. April, May, June, July, August, September, October, 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And I was eating marijuana, edibles, CDCs,
yeah, you were finding alternatives to not use up the pills.
Right.
Yeah, no, I get it. So, and here's what I'm getting at here. Did you ever reach back out to that doctor and say, hey, can you change this record? Because, for her to...
No, I haven't. I walked away from her. I was so upset. I couldn't even sleep at night. And I'm still having a hard time sleeping because I'm so upset for her being unprofessional and saying those things. You don't put something in there like that when you don't know the facts. I do not sell my drugs. I made 28 pills last me 6 months, and to put in drug-seeking behavior and gender identity issues because I wanted to see a male psychiatrist to get prescribed something for my anxiety. She turned red in the face and stormed out of the room. She said, you need to see another doctor.
Okay.
And it was ugly. She was very unprofessional. She's brand new here at the Samaritan Health Center in Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
She hasn't been here 6 months.
Okay. So with that said, considering this, what do you feel would have been the correct course of action after that medical appointment? If you had a magic wand to go back.
With my anxiety, I just walked away. If I had a magic wand and I didn't have issues with communicating with people, which I do have that, I would have tried to talk to her, but the way she got so ugly so fast, I wanted to just get away from her. And that's what I did. I got another doctor.
And that new doctor, what did they prescribe you for pain?
I told him I'm suffering extreme anxiety. He said, well, we can't give you the pain medication and the anxiety medication together because it won't work. I said, well, right now I'm suffering from anxiety so bad that I can't even function. I said, please just give me something for anxiety because I'm coming up on this review. I'm terrified of losing my benefits. My anxiety is controlling my life. I've been dealing with the pain for a long time. So I chose to get anxiety medication because it's a day-to-day function. I'm afraid of getting in trouble because my mental state is fragile my anxiety is worse than you can imagine.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, I thought that was most important. I would like to have something for pain. I am taking CBD edibles. It does help, but it's expensive. I'm just lost here. I'm just afraid that the cards are unfortunately stacked against me. And I don't lie. I don't sell my drugs. I had that bottle for 6 months.
Okay.
I still have half of a pill left.
Okay. So here's where I'm coming from with this. You have the ability to do the analysis. You even have the ability to choose the right choice, from what I'm hearing. Because you said I can't go back to medicine, but then, 5-6 months ago, you went and saw that doctor because you knew a CDR was coming up, and you knew a CDR was coming up probably because you called the SSA. So the analysis ability is there. I think going forward the basics of you're going to need ambulation devices prescribed to you. You're going to need urgent or emergency care medical treatment to show crisis-related treatment. You're going to basically need to have some sort of medication regimen that you're actually following, because right now you got a history of basically medication where you're self-employing your own tactics to deal with the pain, and that's not good. That's bad. And you're saying they're expensive. Well, I get that, but at the same time, they're going to expect you to not be buying, CBD, things like that, and actually going to the doctor and utilizing the medications that are prescribed to them. So there is a little bit of a wrinkle in your claim when it comes to that, when it comes to, essentially the validity of your truthfulness, because, we look at this and we say, okay, if this is really the problem, is his anxiety so bad that it keeps him from getting the pain medication, or would he keep trying to find essentially a doctor who would be a pain specialist that would help him? Because, you stand back and say, I've got a high tolerance for pain. That it has never worked ever as an argument. It has never worked as an argument ever. And the reason why is that if somebody's really in bad pain, they have to have some sort of prescribed medication to them, or some sort of therapy, or some sort of whatever. So the point that I'm getting at here is you were in really, really bad pain. They prescribed you meds. You used them. Then you didn't go to the doctor. Then you used alternatives to try and treat pain medication. Then you saw this female, didn't get along with her, had a problem. Then 5 months ago, 6 months ago, you went to your own doctor, and the timeline leaves us at you're not currently following prescribed medication, as I'm sure that doctor had. So we got a wrinkle. You're not following treatment. You see the issue?
Well, my doctor left his position and went to Oregon State University. I couldn't see him no more. I was all the way in Florida, and I had communication with him over the phone, but it ended because he left.
How good of an excuse do you feel that is?
In order to get a new doctor,
right,
you have to come all the way back to Oregon and start that process, which is what I did. And unfortunately, you said something that it seems that I'm untruthful. I am not. I'm being 100% honest with you.
Yeah, and here's what I'm getting at. The anxiety must be so bad that it keeps you from choosing health, or at least less pain. And when you're prescribed the anxiety medication, it didn't get you to the point where you could make the choices to go and seek further medical treatment. And see, here's the thing. People have this assumption that when they have the excuse of, I can't go to the doctor because it's too expensive, I have a high pain tolerance, so I don't need pain medication all the time. The reality of that is that it tells an adjudicator that you as a person are not as severe as which you are claiming you are, because the evidence provided shows that you're not following essentially a regimen to be able to continuously battle those impairments that either cause you the anxiety or the pain problems. So that's the thing that's probably making you so fearful, is that, deep down, the problem here is that you haven't repetitively seen medical. You could say it's too expensive. You could say your doctor left and went somewhere else. You could say you were in the wrong state and you had to go from Florida to Oregon. But, realistically, you're throwing up some real high walls that you could just walk through the door to the other side on,
I hear you, and I appreciate your opinion there. I just got prescribed the anxiety pills 2 days ago. Okay.
Sure.
Tomorrow I will get on the phone. I will make an appointment with my doctor and tell him it's urgent. I need to get in there to see him.
Yes.
And explain to him. Do I need to explain to him what I'm facing here?
Yeah, man. Like the biggest problem is that you don't feel like you're being heard by these people. And I'm trying to kick you in the ass to basically do the right thing so that you feel heard, because you're the type of guy, if you get on the right track, you'll keep on the right track. I know that. I can tell who you are. But I also know you're the type of guy, when you get off on the wrong track, you keep pedaling the wrong way because you'll make up excuses to validate it. But man, call up the doctor, emergency, urgent, get in there, because they have to purchase all of those medical records to use as a result of those CDRs. And the one big thing you're missing is evidence. You get evidence, you're happy, I'm happy, because you get to retain your benefits, you know?
Okay, I'll work on that.
Perfect. Excellent, good sir. Good sir, you have a wonderful, wonderful night. I will catch you later. If you get a chance to call and let us know how it goes, please do. But you have a wonderful, wonderful night, okay?
Thank you, sir, very much.
Thank you, good sir. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, guys, so that was a really, really great phone call, because that went into a multi-layer situation where the individual just needed a little bit of a helping hand to go in the right direction. Once they go in the right direction, then all of a sudden, look, 3, 4, 5, it's just going to get better for him. He's going to start doing the right stuff. He might have another bad instance, right, where he has a doctor that's not good for him or makes him feel unsound in his choices and stuff like that. And he might even call up again, because, you know, he might call up and say, hey, what should I do? I'm freaking out. And that's what that was. He was calling up to say, where do I go from here? What is the best solution I can, you know, create from this? What outcome can I look forward to if I do something? What do I do? So that's what he was really getting at there. And I think that's incredibly important, because it showed essentially somebody who was doing analysis, but his prior choices were based off of a negativity that put him down the wrong road. All right, let's go to the next caller real quick. Hold on, guys. Here we go. Let's get this going. Let's see if we can get this person on the phone real quick. And here we go. All right, let's get it ringing, and then we'll go from there. Let me see if I can get this thing in here. I know it's a little tough. Oh, is it ringing? Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. Can you hear me okay? Hello. This is Attorney Walter Hnot. Can you hear me okay? I'm not able to hear him, guys. Let me go ahead. We're going to call him right back. One sec. Let's see what we can do here. Let's get this phone ringing again. Sometimes this happens. Wow, Benny Hill, thank you. Thank you for the $9.99 donation. I really, really appreciate it. Love the little number one pair. Howdy. This is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. Would you like me to answer a specific question, or would you like me to go ahead and run hearing questions with you? Go ahead.
Well, I was just wondering, I'm already a client.
Oh, good, sir. So we're actually live right now. Yeah, we're live right now. Do you want to give me a call a little later?
Yes.
Perfect, good, sir. Sounds good. I will catch you a little bit later, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes clients will call, you know, at 9:43, or no, he called originally at 9:11 p.m. So whatchamacallit. All right, we got another caller coming in. Let's get this real quick. Here we go. Let's see what we got. Speakers on. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Would you like me to go ahead and run a hearing question with you, or run hearing questions with you, or would you like me to go ahead and answer a question for you? Go ahead.
Hey, good evening, Walter. I would like for you to answer a question for me, please.
Perfect, good sir. I'll go ahead and answer the question. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to adjust this microphone because I'm using a new setup today to basically have a little bit more of a pro setup. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to attach it down here, and then we should be good to go. All right. So, good sir, walk me through. What is your question?
My question is, it's an investing question.
Sure.
I understand that the SSI guidelines allow for you to invest in stocks.
would not count as earned income. It'll count as unearned income because it's a capital gain. That's for the long term. My question is, if you are day trading options and you make over the SGA limit, which I think this year is over like $1050. If I made $2,000-$3,000 a month from day trading options, and I only day trade options about 30 minutes a day, would that count as earned income, or would it still count as earned income, being that I'll be filing a 1099-B?
So here's the thing. I was starting to write the SSDI based thing on how to do investments on there. And one of the issues I ran into was treatment of bonds versus stocks versus specialty bonds, specialty payouts. And you're talking about something a little bit different than even just a buy and sell situation. You're talking about, basically, give me a little bit more walkthrough as to exactly financially what you're doing. Go ahead.
Okay, so I am day trading options. I usually start about 9:30. Mm-hmm. I'm usually done about 9:45. The latest I'm done is about 9:30. I do about 2 trades a day, mm-hmm. and I'm on my way to grossing about $2,500 to $3,000 a month.
Yeah, I mean, so if it's considered to be an income, then essentially you'd be over SGA and you'd violate and you'd be off, benefits. Now you don't have any SSI. You're just SSDI, correct?
Yes, I'm on SSDI, but there's no clarity at all in regards to day trading. I talked to a gentleman who was a CPA that day trades, and he says that up under the SGA guidelines, mm-hmm. because I'm filing a T99B, which mm-hmm. would be capital gains, being that it's a capital gain, it would qualify as earned income.
Yeah, it's investment income.
I want to get backup from an attorney, not just a CPA.
So bottom line is that traditionally investment-based income, which is what this is, and we're just talking about buying and selling real quick, right? I mean, we're not talking about, shorting or stuff like that. We're just buying and selling, right?
Yeah, I'm usually in a position no more than 2 minutes.
Technically, that would not be considered against the SGA limitation for SSDI Title II benefits. So, and that's just to make sure you're buying and selling, day stocks, boom in, boom out, things like that, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So in that case, you should be okay, especially because of the tax form you're going to be filing. Now, with that said, so then you have the income that comes from that. What are you doing with it?
I'm just sitting on it. I just put it in my brokerage account. I leave it in my brokerage account, and I draw probably maybe $500 a month off of that.
And when you say you make money, so you just leave it in there, and that's just a regular, it's unearned income, correct?
Right.
Okay. In that case, very likely that would not be considered earned income under the SGA limitation. You should be okay. Now, with that said, the problem I get into with some of these situations is that sometimes people will be doing something with a stock or a bond that is not a traditional buy-sell. They're not on your classic program. Stock goes up, you sell, stock goes down, you buy, yada, yada. Are you doing anything, that includes futures or, things of the nature where you're converting it into something that could be considered earned income?
No, I'm just buying stock options. So I will buy a call or a put. If it's a call, if it goes up, a put if it goes down. And again, I'm only in a position for 1 to 2 minutes.
That should be okay. You got to be careful, because at some point, and that's my dog Sweetie out there, you got to be careful. At some point, you are going to want to use those funds and start playing other investment games. And a lot of these investments, some of them fall into unearned income versus the income argument. And if you get caught with the income usage, and it comes to you in a form where you got to file. And remember, a lot of people get very brave when they're filing their tax returns and they miscategorize it. And then all of a sudden the SSAs knock on your door for an SGA violation,
Right.
So it sounds like you're okay. Sounds like you're good. But just be careful because, the problem is if you whoops, and usually when it comes to investment people on SSDI benefits, if you whoops, the problem is you get an overpayment that's due directly to the U.S. Treasury, who takes, first seat on the lineup every single time for anything that, basically you owe.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, but you should be okay doing that.
And then I have another quick question for you. It's for another partner of mine that's disabled. He participates in multi-level marketing, and he would like to know, would that be considered earned income if he recruits somebody into a MLM and he builds a sales team and he's getting residuals from the sales team?
He's getting residual from the sales team, and so he gets people to make sales for him, and then he gets a percentage of those sales, correct?
Yes, sir.
So he's managing them. I mean, it's his program. He brings them in, right?
Well, let's say, this is not the company. Let's just say for Amway, he brought somebody into Amway. He gets a small commission, but the person that he brought in ends up becoming a better affiliate or seller than him, and so he's getting the percentage of that person's sales, which would be more than what he would be bringing in on a monthly basis if he was out there doing the work and pulling people in.
So he's not in charge of any of their training. He's not in charge of any of the products that are supplied to have this person do the job.
That's provided by the multi-level marketing company or the affiliate company.
And how is he filing his taxes?
That one I couldn't tell you.
Okay, I got another question for you. What happens when this person goes away and he has to go back to earning it directly himself?
As long as are you familiar with how multi-level marketing works?
No, I don't. I mean, I know what it is, but I don't do it myself. So I'm not. So walk me through it, and it'll be good for the rest of the people watching right now to understand it. Go for it.
So for multi-level marketing, let's say, actually you're a lawyer. So there's a company out there called, well, I won't name the company, but it's a company that provides prepaid legal services.
Sure.
So a person initially signs up for the service. They pay about $30. They pay $30 a month, and then they get so many hours of consultations from the attorney's office. It's like a healthcare provider, HMO for lawyers. So let's say my buddy, he decides to talk to you about prepaid legal. You say, hey, I like prepaid legal. I like the plan. Sign me up. Okay. You pay the $30. My partner gets a percentage of the $30. If you decide to become a distributor, which you would pay to become a distributor, he would get a portion of he would get a commission off of what you paid to become a distributor. From there on, whatever you sell, whether it be the product or the actual business, the business opportunity, he gets a commission off of it. So anybody you bring in or anybody that buys the service from you and the service from the people that you bring in, he gets a commission for it. He won't even talk to them. He might not ever see the person ever in life.
I guess the question I have is, why is this person still getting commission? You know what I mean? When the other person could just, do it all on his own.
That's the way the companies are set up for, part of it is, the hype of being a business owner, but it's also a way for the company to get sales. without spending advertising and marketing dollars. So you recruit people into the, you recruit people into the program or for the services through word of mouth referrals, and they pay you a commission.
So what I'm hearing is, that guy trained the guy that he's making money off of, correct?
No, because let's say he brought him in for the business opportunity. It's a turnkey system where the company will train that person for you. You're just saying, hey, you can make money with this, or you can actually use the service, or you can do both. And you make your decision whether you want to do one or the other or both, and then he gets paid. If you choose to become a part of the opportunity, the company does all the training for you.
So just to solidify and simplify, in this instance, we basically have an individual who convinces somebody to join a program that new person can start selling product, that the original person who invited the new person into that program gets a percentage off of whatever sales that new person makes.
Exactly.
All right. Keep in mind, it is 10 o'clock at night and I've been working all day, so it might be a little slow. But bottom.
That's a good solid question. So
yeah,
if you won't feel like answering, there's not a problem.
No, I mean, I get what the question is. The question is this truly unearned income? That's what this comes down to. Is this totally and completely unearned income? And look, if the original person is wholly separated from the scenario, doesn't interact with the new salesman, doesn't train him, doesn't provide the tools, doesn't provide scheduling, doesn't provide, hire and fire details, he is truly removed, and then some other corporation is handling it, then yeah, that seems to some degree to be passive. But then when I go to the highest level, which is the corporation that handles this whole multi-level marketing spiel, I got to wonder, how are they paying him? Are they paying him as an employee? Are they paying him as a 1090? Like, what? And that's the question, I guess. Yeah.
They pay him as a 1099.
It feels.
They pay him as the independent sales rep, 1099.
It feels like, this would not count against the SGA for the Title II SSDI. It feels like that. The only problem I run into is essentially how are they specifying when they pay him? Like, what is his job title with that corporation?
In the beginning, you would be what's considered affiliate, and then they have like these, advancement rank levels, manager, senior manager, but those are in title only. That's just, in one company it could be manager, senior manager, the next company could be 1-star, the next company would be 2-star, and then it'd be 5-star diamond and all that, kind of stuff.
Okay. And I mean, I've seen this stuff with sports drinks. I've seen this stuff with selling all kinds of stuff. Yeah. I mean, that's the major one. Sports drinks, drinks with sugar in them, drinks that end up in, being sold at gyms, stuff like that. They tend to hire, really good looking people to be salespeople. They go in, they do the same thing with tools, Milwaukee tools, Ryobi tools, all kinds of stuff. All right. So, what worries me about this is the title of the person and the attachment to the company, because, your arguments are very, very strong. A lot of weight to them that he's not touching anything. He's completely removed from the situation. But then it gets entangled the moment he's trying to bring in new people. And then all of a sudden, he's working from this perspective of not just being like I stand back completely and the money's coming to me. Now all of a sudden he's active. So, I mean, is this guy completely standing back, or is he to some degree active? He'd have to be active. Yeah.
Like on like 1 month he might bring one person in. The next month he might bring in 2 people. The next month he might bring in 1 person. 1 month he might get lucky and bring in 7 people. But the commissions really don't add up to his personal commissions. Wouldn't add up to what the SGA max is, but the residuals would.
Right, go way over. Yeah. Okay. And here's what I'm hearing in my head, just from a legal perspective. And keep in mind, I've never had this question before, and I'm sure that's why you're asking me, because you probably asked somebody else and they weren't sure. But the first thing that comes to my head is, what is his activity while he's working? Is this a guy who is actively with the company, bringing in new people with the purpose to go ahead and essentially, make sales or get other people to sell stuff? Because to me, that's a manager that's hiring. You know what I mean? Even if he's not firing, that's, and he's still doing that, which means all of a sudden that sounds very employee like. And then you've got, this other income where he's basically sitting back in his chair going, it's just raining on me. It's a light rain, but it's raining on me. And these people are doing this work, but I don't have to touch it. So to me, you've got two different types of taxable assets in the form of an earned income versus an unearned income. And what you have is an entanglement. So what would scare me is when I would go to report this to the IRS, I would want to make sure that I specified specifically and reported it differently. But, like I said, man, there's an entanglement problem because, look, no matter who he gets on board, those people are going to drop out. They're going to go do their own thing. They're going to whatever. He's going to lose people over time, which means they got him on the hook. He's got to come back for more, and he's got to keep getting more salesmen.
Right.
So, I mean, to me, you could get away with some filings there if you stood back on those particular earnings coming in. But man, if he's recent with somebody and he's training them, because he's got to get them on board. And in order to get them on board, he's got to do some training to make them understand the purpose.
Right.
There's some, but if 2-3 months go by, he hasn't talked with the person, and the company just sends him a check for residual. I mean, shit, that's unearned. But I mean, let's call it like it is. He's got to get a lot of soldiers to make that army get pay for itself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why it's like a kind of a fine line there. And again, the language in the SGA rules, even in my situation with the day trading options, it's really nothing clear cut there. And I wouldn't even know how, if I got flagged, how would I even respond or reply to that, especially in my situation, day trading options.
The scary thing about the day trading is that it's continuous, repetitive, ongoing, and they can track it so easily because look, they log into your program, which they'll get a warrant to do, and they'll be able to see, this ongoing repetitive action by you like it's a job. And what they're looking for with that type of stuff is essentially, if the person is not earning money when they should be, they attribute earnings to it because they're doing it just like a job that would normally pay a certain amount. Now you're doing it like a job that's making money, but you're saying it's unearned income. And now the flip of this question, right? And what you're really asking me is, this law was designed for regular stock trading. You buy something, you hold it for 5 months, you sell it. You buy something, you hold it for a year, you sell it. What you're saying is, I wake up, I buy, by the time I'm falling asleep, I'm selling.
Right.
If I were a judge, the way I would look at it is repetitive sales. And what do I mean by repetitive sales? You have to use skill. You have to use knowledge to do analysis. You have to look things up and understand what the companies are doing, even on a day-to-day basis. They come out with a new product. Somebody in the executive board, at the executive board level, says something that's derogatory or problematic. Like the big Disney stuff that's been happening. All of a sudden, things drop. Oh wow, Gary George, thank you for the $19.99 donation. Thank you. That's excellent. Holy cannoli. Wow. Thank you. So the thing that I would say about this is the way the statute's written, and I've read it not too long ago, actually, because I was working on a write-up specifically for what are considered in the best ways to do investments for SSDI benefits, which are way more open than SSI benefits. But the problem I see here is that this is very similar to somebody selling cakes or shoes or, whatever, fruit in a store. Somebody's selling something repetitively. And just because we call it day trading, does that make it okay because it's related historically to stocks which have been deemed unearned income? God, man, that's, that's going to end up at a federal district court and then end up at circuit court. It might even go to the Supreme. I mean, that's something where it's, cause remember with stocks, the whole point of that, the unearned income is that somebody throws that thing into a company. They're sitting with it. They got so many shares, 12 months goes by. They take a look at it again. They sell it. Hey, it went up. It didn't go up, whatever. You know what I mean? That's what it is. It's not repetitive, ongoing, continuous, daily, but what you're doing is all the things that traditionally equate to a job. I mean, look, you're waking up Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to do this job, right?
Right.
I know what the law is on this, but man, I don't think I see this thing. I see what you're doing as a different animal. I think you have a good argument, but I don't see it holding up in the higher courts.
Okay.
But that was a good question, man. I mean, you made me wake up, and it's 10:05 p.m. That was a good question right there. Yeah.
Brother Walter, I truly appreciate you answering that question. I've been looking for an answer for that for the past year.
Yeah. I can understand why. I mean, nobody's ever approached me with a question like that before, but that's a great question. But good sir, thank you for coming on the show, asking the question. If you have any other good ones, by all means, another Thursday call in. But you have a wonderful, wonderful night, and thank you so much.
Hey, thank you for answering my question, and thank you for all the wonderful information that you give us, and for giving us your time as well. I truly appreciate you.
Excellent, good sir. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful night, and I'll catch up with you in the future.
Yes, sir. Too. Have a great week.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Would you like me to go ahead and answer a specific question, or would you like me to run hearing questions? And keep in mind to use a fake name throughout this process. Go ahead.
Yes, I have. Just call me Betsy.
Okay.
I have a question, please.
Sure.
And that is a dear friend of mine. She's on Social Security, but it's SSI. And one of her loved ones passed away and left a life insurance policy worth $5,000. Now, what she'd like to do is simply take that and just pass it on to the person's son. So the person who died, it's their son that she wants to pass it on to, because we understand that Social Security would just take it back.
Yeah, because the $1,500 policy limitation. Yeah.
Right. So what are the options? Can she go ahead and pass it on to the person's son, or what can she do?
All right. So the way, and I saw one of these come down on a higher court, the way it usually works is if that person has the capacity to direct those funds, then they are attributed to that person, in connection to whether or not they have the capacity to utilize them, which means that if she directs them to somebody else, she is still for that month with those funds. So, I mean, if she's going to mess up a month, she might as well just, do what she wants to, because she's going to lose that month anyways. Now, there's another side of this. That's where they caught it. If they don't catch it, they're not aware of it, and it gets reassigned, and none of it gets filed, with people that are going to find out, then it just, it goes to the other person. Nobody's the wiser, and, nobody knows. But the insurance systems, they do have access to this massive, it's not even just, property insurance, health insurance, auto insurance. They're all part of a massive system. You want to look up a person, their history, what's going on, they can log into that stuff. So the days of it just smooching through are much more limited. Now they're really busy right now. They got a lot of COVID, applicants. So there's always that. But at the same time, if we're being fair, a lot of their stuff is computer automated now, could pop up with a red flag. And then all of a sudden, yeah.
So how can she, now you were saying that she can pass it on to the person's son, but she would still just lose 1 month of Social Security, correct?
Yeah. So, and real quick, April Galton, thank you. Cute, super cute little lemon donating $5. I really, really appreciate it. That's amazing. Thank you. That's just super. Thank you. So with your question, what you're really asking me is what's the punishment? And the punishment is basically she loses a month because, it violates the insurance rule. So, you could take the risk, you could take the risk.
No risk.
There's no way around that, though. I mean, she's inheriting this. You know what I mean? It's not like the attorney can stop I mean, were there other potential, were there things that she had to do before she inherited, or no?
No, she just, the person died and she was left the $5,000 in the life insurance.
Yeah, I mean, then in that instance, she's going to be, it is what it is. I mean, just pass it. You know what I mean? You're going to pass the potato. Yeah.
I'm not understanding. Then help me understand, please. It's that she can go ahead. It does that if she accepts the money and does not pass it on to the person, the child of the dead person, then
what's the difference? I gotcha.
How does she not lose the whole $5,000?
So look, so she doesn't have to lose. She would just lose her benefits for that month, her SSI Title 16 benefits for that month. Because here's the thing, those funds are going to basically, they're coming to her. She is going to become the sole person who can dictate what happens to them. She can reassign them, but she still had the capacity to assign them to somebody else, which means that in the eyes of the law, she had it. It makes her ineligible for that month. Now, with that said, she can cash it, but if she cashes it, it's going to make the SSA much more aware that, essentially all of a sudden money hit the bank. So something that might have not been, something they were looking for or that they would catch very quickly becomes a red flag. So if she gets it to her son, her son cashes it, a little bit different, not as obvious. And that's the thing here. You guys tend to call me with some naughty, tough questions. I gotta tell you.
Well, we get stuck in tough situations, and I don't trust many people.
Yeah.
She and I are both we've been hit too many times by wrong answers.
Yeah.
And I do trust you. I've watched you for a long time now. So she can pass it on, but Social Security will just take away the 1 month.
If they catch it. Correct.
Okay. If they catch, that's fine. She doesn't mind. We need to know worst case scenario. So she just goes ahead. She does not cash it. How can she pass it on to the person? Is there a way to sign it then?
Yeah, she can sign it. Yeah, she can call up the group and assign it over to the next person. They unless it specifically has a provision, which they usually don't, where you can't assign it. But almost all these insurance things, they get and remember too, when they first sign these things up, they essentially usually have a couple people on the assignment list. So if person one can't,
there is just her.
That's odd. That's very odd.
Nobody else is on that list.
Yeah.
No, it's a very strange relationship. It had a estranged relationship.
Oh, gotcha.
Had been 30-year relationship.
Gotcha. Okay.
So there is nobody else but this person on SSI.
So I guess the way I would do it from an attorney that was an attorney but in that situation is I would sign it to the other person who would then utilize the funds. I can't say whether or not he can give the funds back to the person. I'm not going to get into that live.
No,
but
don't even want to do that.
Yeah, but that would be realistically the move I would make, with the expectation that there would be a removal of that particular month. Now, the SSA also has requirements of, where you have to, on SSI, notify them when this stuff comes up. So technically, she's supposed to heads up the SSA. There's also that.
Okay, the money's not here yet. The money is due in the next week or so.
Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. I've got a chubby dog out there, and she's complaining.
I know, but she needs to contact Social Security as soon as she gets the transfer with the insurance company, right?
Yeah, but I mean, if she's contacting the SSA, realistically, I mean, she can just cash it and then use it and get it out. You know what I mean? I mean, does she have a plan for the use of it or no?
No, there's, she's just afraid that she'll lose SSI for the next many months if she does cash it. And she'd much rather have it go to the person's son,
Yeah.
where he might be able to make use of it if she's going to lose many months in Social Security.
So she'll reassign it. You notify the SSA. They're definitely going to know. Trying to think if there's any way that she can assign it without having actual direct contact with it. But to me, you would need some sort of, middle person who's supposed to be the one who gets to decide. And this doesn't sound like this was in a trust. This sounds like she was named and it's her.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're supposed to notify the SSA if you got a violation situation for SSI. That's the proper thing to do. Now, most clients are not going to do that, but that's the proper thing to do.
Okay. Good. And thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. And my apologies for Sweetie. She's an adorable dog, but she's chubby and she wants treats.
I love my pets. I love my pets, so don't worry.
Excellent.
Get it.
Excellent.
Thank
Excellent.
you.
Absolutely. Well, you have a wonderful, wonderful night. Okay.
You too. Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, ma'am. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Okay, guys. So I missed a call from somebody. I'm going to go let Sweetie in. We're going to see if Sweetie calms down. Give me 1 second. Just hang in there. I'm going to go let Sweetie in. She's trying to knock down the door again because, she's 100% bully, which means Sweetie don't care, Let me go. Hold on. Oh, God. She's just bloody murder. She just can't take it. She's just too adorable. Hold on. Are you happy now? Are you happy, Miss Pigglepop? Come on. Come on. All right. We got to finish the show. All right, guys. We're going to do one more phone call. One more phone call. Sweetie's happy now. She's happy. So here's what happened. Shadow, who's right here, has a tendency to he wants to spend time with Daddy, and he doesn't want Sweetie as part of that because Sweetie can be a little bit bullish. So he will take his little hand with his claws and close the doors, and he'll hit him with his head to lock her out. And when I'm sitting here doing this, I can't go open the door. All right, here, let's get this phone call real quick. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. Would you like me to answer a specific question, or would you like me to run hearing questions with you? Oh, no, I can't hear them. Let's see if this is that person. Hold on. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. Would you like me to answer a specific question, or would you like me to run hearing questions?
I have a specific question.
Perfect, sir. Go ahead.
I'm on SSI, Supplemental Security.
Sure.
I live in low-income housing, and I was able to save a little bit of money, and I don't have a car. And getting the doctor's appointments is hectic.
Sure, yeah.
Am I allowed to buy a car, or am I allowed to even get into a small car payment?
Yeah. So here's the deal. You are allowed one dwelling, one car. You can even have more than one car, but you run into the resource limit issue. But that's what this show is all about, is that you can get a car on SSI benefits, and you can essentially go ahead and basically, keep upgrading the car, fixing the car up, cleaning the car, upgrading until you get to a high-end vehicle that you can spin off for more cash. But point is, the expectation is that every disabled person, whether on SSI, SSDI, disabled adult child benefits, that's DAC benefits, whatever, that every disabled program that we have allows for one vehicle to be assigned to that person's name, where that asset does not limit them in any way. So absolutely.
So if I can't afford one and I have to get into a small car payment, that's okay also?
Yeah, you're taking a loan. That's what a lot of people do. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I mean, the loan is going to be specific to the car, right? This is not like hey, I'm using some money for this, I'm using some money for that.
For the car.
Okay, yeah. So if it's a car loan, you should be okay.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you, good sir. Have a wonderful night.
I listen to you all. Keep up the good work.
Will do, good sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. All right, guys. So Sweetie has now left the room. She was happy. She just wanted to get in here. I think what happens with her is that she gets very jealous because Shadow gets a lot of attention because he's so damn adorable. He's so cute. I sort of grab him and snuggle him. So bottom line is Sweetie comes over and then she gets really physical. Like there's just chubby paws and chubby skin on her neck, just throwing it on top of me. And I'll wake up sometimes and I'll just have her literally laying on top of my body and her face, this chubby dog face, is staring me right in the eyes. And then literally as I'm like laying there, she will lick my eyes. And I hate that. She knows she is not allowed to lick my ears or eyes. I hate that. She is not allowed. So anyways, guys, I hope you're doing well. Let me go let them out because they're going to throw a party in the other room called Chew Everything. You guys have a wonderful night, and we will go from there. Thank you so much. And and to all the people who donated, I really super appreciate it. Remember, guys, please remember to like, subscribe, and leave 5-star reviews. The thing that helps me really be competitive in the market, the disabled market, is that I get to save a little bit of money by not having to pay Google like, $400, $500 a month for advertising. And I get to do that because I have a lot of 5 stars. So those 5 stars really help me be competitive against these other firms that are spending a heck of a lot of money. And the truth is I make a lot less than disability attorneys because I usually represent a lot of SSI people who most disability attorneys don't want to touch. And then on top of that, basically disability attorneys make less than pretty much most other types of attorneys. So it's a lot of work, and I want to point out one thing to the people who have asked me if I'm okay with the white hair and the stuff like that, because at my age, you're not supposed to have white hair. I am overworked. I am super tired. The system has its flaws financially, but things will improve as time goes on. And that's important, but I will catch you guys a little bit later. You have a wonderful night and we will go from there. And remember, please be good to yourself. You only have yourself at the end of the day. Please be good to yourself. All right, guys. Bye-bye. Have fun. Bye-bye.